the time wrong, time wrong. I blow up and then they're all gone, all gone. So sick of saying hold on, hold on. A broken state, shaking the ground beneath, running from everything, seems to be the path I lead. And now I'm beating on the floor, wondering why I feel like a ticking time bomb, time bomb. Always seem to get the time wrong, time wrong. I blow up and then they're all gone, all gone. So sick of saying hold on, hold on. I took a shot on hoping I'd never change. I wonder why I'm always broken, stuck in time just like I'm frozen, frozen. Now I'm slowly thinking, a product of overthinking again. Hold it in and change my breathing, settle down and stop repeating amends. I feel like a ticking time bomb, time bomb. Always seem to get the time wrong, time wrong. I blow up and then they're all gone, all gone. So sick of saying hold on, hold on. I feel like a ticking time bomb.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment of Touchline Talk with your boy LNobbins. And today, I'm not uploading a standalone tactical analysis of the Villarreal game, because I'm not going to do that for the majority of the Champions League games. I did it for the Napoli one because, it's Kevin De Bruyne coming back, and that was an interesting time. And maybe I could have done one for Villarreal, but I'm not going to. So a portion of today's stream is going to be discussing the preview. What do we want the lineup to be? What do we think the lineup will be? Very briefly touching on Villarreal and their most recent game against Betis, and how can City best set up accordingly and whatnot. Football Forever asks, will there be a watch-along tonight? Absolutely, there will indeed be a watch-along tonight, starting at around 7 o'clock. I'm on We Are the South stand at 6, and then we'll be going into my watch-along at 7. So yes, make sure to tune in tonight for that. Leave a like on the video as you are coming in. It is free and it helps support your boy. Incredibly important announcement. Today, these stands arrived for my Lego ships. I know you guys are really interested in that. This is for Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter, and this one is for the A-Wing Rebel Alliance Starfighter. Aren't they cute? Aren't they sick? Now just imagine, like some actual sets sitting on top of them. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be cute. It's going to be very sweet and pretty. How are we all doing today, though, guys? How much do the stands cost? Less than a tenner each. Not expensive at all. Not expensive at all. Just realised that my chat is all weird. Why is it slightly down? What's that all about? What is that all about? Let me just move that up. There we go, that's better. That is better. Nana Nobbins. I was going to say she's going to the match tonight, but she's not, because it's away, isn't it? So, no, she's good. She was at the game against Everton. She said 2-1 for the score prediction. She said 2-1 for the score prediction. So she was nearly right, in fairness. She was nearly right. Hello, Stephen. We've got Matthew. We've got Dom, Martin. Yash's predictions. We'll get into that. Have a feeling Holland will do a madness, says Stephen. Game has draw written all over it. Need some Shirky magic. Love that from you, KJ. Got SWK. Yes, there will be a watch along. Hello, Hazard. Got Naveen. The mighty. Hey, the yellow submarine. Hell yes, says Dom. Thank you for asking, King. The Naboo Starfighter is. Well, I've ordered a wall mount for that one. For the M1. Do you know how I'd go on with my day without knowing your Lego sense. Well, exactly, Jack, exactly. Need a bigger Don cutout, 1-to-1 preferably. I don't think they do them that big, mate. I don't think they do them that big. Ram Darby, hello Sarah. Hello Saitam, I'm doing great. How are you? Yeah, make sure to drop a like. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, pay rent, guys. Pay rent. Pay your like rent. Hope we don't have to rely on Holland as Ethan. We shall find out. Won't we? I want him to score because he's still got more goals than games in the Champions League, which is absolutely insane. It's absolutely mental. So shall we should we just go straight into it then, shall we? Shall we go straight into the tactics board? I feel like we probably should. I haven't done this in a while, and I've had a power outage since, and that normally fucks up all my settings. So if we bottle this, then it's not my fault. It's because of the power outage. The oven shorted the whole wirings in the house. So we shall see. The screen will be a bit blurry, so I will just need to address that. So I'm going to press this button and hope that it works out. Let's find out together, shall we? Let's find out together. Okay. Okay, great. Yes, that's blurry, but that's fine. Lovely. There we go. That looks about right to me. Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I can still see you on the chat in front of me. There should hopefully be a line chat underneath, so it's all good. Bernabis says excited to see Shirky start today. Definitely. So this is going to be a live version of the preview. There's going to be less. I'm not going to lie, it's not going to be as detailed as my actual uploads because I wasn't able to catch the entire game of Villarreal versus Betis. I was able to catch a little bit of it and garner some conclusions from it, but it's not going to be in so much detail because I normally like to watch at least a couple of matches beforehand. But this is how Villarreal set up in their most recent game, that 2-2 draw against Betis, and this is how City set up most recently against Everton, of course. And I'm just going to check something, so I don't want to make myself look like an idiot, but I'm pretty sure that this stat is correct. I'm pretty sure this stat is correct. Yes, it is. Wait, what button do I press? Is that right? Yeah, look at that. That's good, isn't it? Hello. I haven't got my lights on. Should I put my lights on? Does it matter? I don't think it matters. Villarreal have not lost a single game at home so far this season in all competitions. They've drawn a fair few times, but they haven't lost once. This is not going to necessarily be a very easy game for City based on that precedent. So that was the first thing I wanted to highlight, that Villarreal have literally not lost at home all season. Who knows? Maybe it will just be a Brentford situation and we will break that record. But that's just important to note that this isn't necessarily going to be... And yeah, Matthew says that changes today. I love that confidence. And who knows? Maybe it will. But I just wanted to highlight in the first instance that this isn't going to be a piss-easy game at all. Okay, Villarreal haven't won since, the 27th of September. They are I actually thought they were fourth in the table. They're actually third in the table, so they're actually higher than Atletico Madrid. So they are third in the table. They have scored the same number of goals as Atletico and Sevilla. In fact, I think the only two sides that have scored more goals than them in La Liga are the two big dogs, Real Madrid and Barcelona. They've actually conceded the same number of goals as Barcelona and Atletico Madrid as well. So this isn't going to be I hope it is, but that tells us that this ain't going to be a piss-easy game for City. So I love how people are predicting, a really high-scoring game for City. That's lovely. I love that confidence. But it's not necessarily going to be that easy. On paper, outside of Real Madrid, this is our trickiest game in the Champions League, based on that precedent, absolutely. The only good news is that they're not currently in form. So how do they play against Betis in their 2-2 capitulation to Real Betis? They played with two quite large strikers. So I'm going to butcher these pronunciations. Oluwasi, 6'2", Moreno 5'11". They pinned themselves onto Betis's centre backs and made it more of a physical battle. They have been basically all season setting up in a relatively defensive mid-block. They are not a side who dominate possession at all. They don't go the whole hog and play with like a back five, so do expect it to be a 4-4-2. But this, I'd be very surprised if this was a 4-4-2 where it's incredibly aggressive and forcing City into those build-up errors, which is a good thing because it means that that's one thing City don't have to worry about if they play how they have for the majority of this season. They're going to be more passive. They are going to be more defensively solid, and we know that the 4-4-2 is arguably the most solid off-ball formation and shape. So that's something that can potentially inform our squad building. Absolutely. I would expect Pepe to start. Rambol says Anthony Dial, sorry. Perhaps. I would expect Pepe to start somewhere, whether that's as one of the two strikers off ball or whether that is just playing as that right winger, because he is a thing. Thankfully, they did lose Baena in the summer, and I was a big fan of Baena from last year. Again, this isn't necessarily how they will play, but this was how they played most recently against Betis. So let's now have a chat about City's starting 11 by comparison. I keep kicking these Lego boxes, man. Deary me, this is so unprofessional. Let me kick these out of the way. Like that, yeah? Shouldn't have done that. That hurt my foot. Okay, so let's have a chat about Shirky, shall we? And let's have a chat about the usage of Foden and Bernardo in these trickier, I don't know why I did that in quotes because it just is objective, in these more high-stake, trickier Champions League matches, shall we? Or just matches generally. Wait. Someone remind me, what did we do against Monaco? Where did Foden play against Monaco? I remember where he played against Napoli to start with. I remember where he played against Arsenal. Where did he play against Monaco? I need to look this up now. Can you guys help me? Where did he play? Did he play off-ball midfield? Does anyone know? If anyone can please remind me, that would be ideal. I feel like he didn't, but maybe he did. Was he midfield off-ball as well, Naveen? If he was, then that's interesting. Because what I was going to say is that for those trickier games, as against Napoli and Arsenal, I didn't know whether I could include Monaco in that as well, but certainly against Napoli and certainly against Arsenal, he was off-ball midfield. Okay, that's interesting. Against those other two teams, though, the Monaco one's interesting, so maybe that does throw a spanner into the works. Pep seemed to not trust Foden in the midfield, and instead we played Bernardo there off-ball anyway. Off-ball. So I wonder whether it's going to be a Monaco vibe where you guys are telling me he did trust him in the middle, which is great. I actually can't remember that off ball. Or is it going to be more the Napoli and Arsenal vibe where that less of that trust is there? Now, given how I've just outlined that Villarreal aren't necessarily a high possession-based side, and maybe they're going to be asking less questions directly of our midfield in a structured sense, more so in transition, I actually think that there is less reason to not play Foden centrally. So that is actually what I'm going to predict. I do think Bernardo is going to play, though, because Bernardo, he started against Napoli and he started against Monaco. Did he start against Arsenal? Sorry, guys, I've got to check this. I feel like he did. And this is the research I normally do before the upload. I did tell you guys it wasn't going to be as organised. He did start against Arsenal as well. There is no doubt that Bernardo's going to start then again in my head. If he starts against... Oh, thank you so much, Jimmy, for renewing your membership. 19 months is absolutely... Oh my God, look at my ass. My ass. Why has it done that? Your random footballers, Radamel Falcao. What a boy. What a baller. Speaking of Monaco. There we go. Thank you. 19 months, mate. I think Foden's earned Pep's full trust in midfield from his comments recently. I hope so, Jimmy. I hope so. I know why it's done. It's because I forgot to change the profile of my streaming thing. Oh, there we go. Goodness me. So if the printer activates, it will be the bigger one. Right. Anyway, what I was saying. Yeah. Can you imagine, FG, if I was doing like that old that interviewer trick? Yeah, so Bernardo's going to start. Does anyone here seriously think Bernardo ain't going to start? Because he started against Napoli, he started against Monaco, he started against Arsenal, which you would argue, well, two are in the Champions League, obviously, and then away at Arsenal is another one of those things. So for me, there is no world in which Bernardo doesn't start against Villarreal, given the fact that he started against Monaco, Arsenal, Napoli, these either tricky away games or just a tricky opponent in the Champions League as against Napoli. So I do think that Bernardo will be starting. It's a good point, Dennis. He didn't start against Everton. He came on, he looked good. So I do think that Bernardo will be starting. I'm going to predict more so off that right side if you guys are telling me that Foden was trusted to play in the middle against Monaco, which is lovely to be reminded of that. So that's what I'm going to predict. Let me just get some of these players that I'm not 100% on first of all. So I'm actually not 100% on. No, if I'm saying that Bernardo's playing, and if I think that he's going to be playing, I guess it could be actually. It could be that, couldn't it? Because against Everton, this is what the midfield actually turned into. To be fair, Reinders came off, Bernardo went to the right of centre, Foden stayed left of centre, Nico in DM. That's interesting. I'm just going to pop them to one side for a second, but that could be a vibe. Let's start with the players who we definitely believe are going to start, though. Donnarumma obviously is going to start, and feel free to put your input into this starting 11, chaps. That'd be very useful. Haaland's going to start, he's Haaland. Nico's going to start, there's no other option. Donnarumma's going to start, he's Donnarumma. So let's have a look at the defence. Gvardiol was rested, which was lovely. So I'm going to predict Gvardiol to come back into the side. Fitness on Nico O'Reilly is going to be a big question mark. It's going to be a big question mark. Because he went off injured, but then he was training, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure it's only Rodri and Kusanov who are no-nos, as for they weren't actually training. I think everyone else was. So that tells me that Nico O'Reilly is available. If not, then it will mean that we're going to have to play one of Ake or Yoshko out there at left. Oh no, I guess Nori. No, Nori's back, isn't he? Ooh, Yeah, good point. Will Nori start just because he got injured? That's a good point, actually. Yes, I'm going to change my mind there. Let's go for Nori. And I guess that makes a bit more sense if we're saying that Villarreal might play more of a defensive game and if Nico O'Reilly isn't fully fit. Is this the game to start him, though? He got some minutes against Everton, I guess, didn't he? I guess he got some minutes. I'm going to put in Nori for now. Just because I'm a little bit concerned about, like, what if O'Reilly is going to aggravate that potential knock? I'm not sure. I might change this, but for now, I'm going to pop it in. I'm going to lock that in. That's fine. That's safe. Yoshko, if he's available, he should be starting. I'd be very surprised if Diaz was rotated or dropped. And likewise with Nunes, I'd be very surprised if Lewis came in for him. I guess Stones could come in for Nunes. That could be a thing, but I wonder if that's the approach we want to go to if we want a more offensive option there. You guys reckon that the right back would be Stones? I'll keep that in mind. I'll pop him up there. I guess it depend how it informs my overall squad building, because I've enjoyed Nunes the past few games. I wouldn't mind him starting again. So there's not too much rotation, and outside of O'Reilly for Nori, that is what has been so far this season based on evidence. Oh, wait, did he not come on, Mateen? Am I being stupid? I thought he came on for like the last 5 or 10 minutes. Have I got that horrendously wrong? Let me double check. Have I got that horrendously wrong? Wait, he wasn't even on the bench. What am I doing? I thought he was... he wasn't even... Yeah, okay, well, he's not starting, is he? Yeah, okay. Changed my mind. That ain't happening. Thank you, guys. Yeah, he wasn't even on the bench. I don't know who I thought I saw come on then. Jesus, man. Yeah, so he's not going to start then, is he? Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm actually just going to predict Nico O'Reilly to start then, hope that he's back. I don't want to predict Ake at left back. I don't want to predict Yoshko at left back either. I guess if O'Reilly isn't available and if you don't want to start Nori, you could punt for that. I suppose that is a viable option. That would be viable also. And if O'Reilly isn't available, and if you don't want to start Ait-Nouri, then that might make the most sense as a back four. That gets Stones into the team as well, but that's not what I'm going to predict, because I'm going to go with what I want. I'm going to go with what I want to see. So that's what I'm going to say. So I'm going to say it's like the back four that has been our best back four so far this season. We can negotiate. To be fair, I think all of these potential positions are up for grabs. Nico is certainly not up for grabs. Neither is Hall, and neither is Donnarumma. And this isn't going to be an easy game. So I know I appreciate we have Aston Villa. Thankfully, that's on Sunday. But I do think we should be going strong here against Villarreal, definitely. Because even though I don't agree this is a must-win game, if we can win it, that's a beautiful time. And we should be doing everything we can to try and win it, obviously. Let's look to the midfield now. We know that Bernardo is almost definitely going to be starting. It's just going to be a question of, does he start centrally or does he start at right wing? We also hopefully can all agree that Foden should be starting because he has been one of our best players so far this season, and he had that whole international break off. He doesn't need a rest. He's absolutely fine because he had that whole international break off. So Foden should be starting, and I would love him to be starting in the exact same position as against Monaco, off ball in the midfield. Reinders has played so much football, and I wonder if now is the time to actually give him some form of rest. His better games have been where there has been more space to attack. I'm not convinced Villarreal are going to give us that space. That is a bit of a riskier option because it then means that you'd have to play, or you would play a more adventurous right-sided player rather than Bernardo and then have Reinders in the centre. But it might be the key if the idea is that we're scared of, or concerned about rather, Villarreal's transitions. Do you want a more secure midfield, and that would involve having Bernardo in over Reinders? That's a rogue shout. I'm gonna YOLO, and I am gonna predict Reinders to not start. Just out of interest. I don't think that's a sensible or logical call, but there's less stakes here. This isn't an official upload yet, so I don't really care if my predictions are that wrong. I'm going more of a vibe situation. Because Villarreal are going to be defensive, I'm going to punt for Doku. I don't know if it's the right time for Marmoush to get a full start yet, so I'm going to predict Doku to start, and then I guess it's just about who plays off that right wing. I'd love Cherki to start, because you guys know I rate him very highly. But I don't think I'm going to predict him to start. I still think that right now, Pep is viewing Cherki as this player who he wants to bring on and incorporate and integrate slowly into the side. So I'm not going to predict Cherki to start. Make no doubts about it, that I want him to start. I would love it for him to start. That'd be very fun, but I'm not going to predict it. I might just go for the same wing pairing that he did against Everton, which would be Doku and Savio. I guess we could also throw Bob in there as well, but just for the purpose of continuity, I'm going to predict the exact same wing pairing. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So there's not too much rotation here that I'm predicting. Yoshko, Bernardo. There's only two, so I'm only predicting two changes, which would make sense given how unwilling Pep has been to rotate. Who was in the pre-match press conference, Martin? I've not looked at that yet. I thought it was Nico who was in the pre-match press conference. Can you guys let me know? Cherki was in the press conference. Oh, I thought it was Nico. Maybe he is. Maybe he was, sorry. You guys are saying Nico and Cherki. Oh, so it was both of them, was it? I don't know. I'm not going to predict it. I want it to happen, but I'm not going to predict it. This is still a team that can win, by the way, definitely. It's basically the same team that played against Everton. It's actually just gotten stronger defensively because Yoshko is playing instead of Ake. It's certainly more controlled with Bernardo over Reinders, and that's probably a rogue shout. And if we're being given more realistic, it's probably more likely to be that. with Reinders starting, and then if Bernardo has to start, then Bernardo will go there. This is probably a lot more realistic. That's even less changes compared to the Everton game. Actually, no, it isn't. It's the exact same, isn't it? It's the exact same because I've still got Bernardo on the pitch. So maybe that would make more sense to predict for a tricky Champions League away game. Obviously our best goalkeeper option, our best back four from this season, our only option in defensive midfield. Foden, one of our best players, of course. Doku's been our best option off the left. Haaland is Haaland. Bernardo has to play. And then it's like just, I guess it all depends on where does Bernardo play. Are you having Bernardo out at right wing? In which case you probably will absolutely have to play for Reinders in the centre. Or do you pop Bernardo in the centre? And then do you have a more adventurous right-sided option in Savio, Bob, Shirky, one of those players? This is probably what I am going to stick with, though. Actually, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna, realistically, this is probably what it's going to be. It's not going to be anything too crazy. On ball, it's going to be the exact same sort of vibe: a 3-1-6 or a 3-4-3, however you want to look at it. More so a 3-1-6 nowadays. That is what I'm going to predict. It's not sexy. It's not sexy at all. It does mean that Bernardo's going to play at right wing. The alternative is that you do that, and then that is horror. So no, I really don't want to do that. On ball, I think that would probably make the most sense if those are the personnel that I'm going to punt for and predict. Again, what are the alternatives? Ainori wasn't even on that. I didn't even realise he wasn't even on the bench against Everton. Surely he's not going to start. Marmoush, he actually did. Come on, I've got to double check this now because I was so wrong about Ainori. I'm sure Marmoush came on. Oh, I was wrong. No, I was wrong there as well. He didn't even come on. What is wrong with me, man? No, yeah, Marmoush didn't come on either. They're not starting then, are they? If they've not had any minutes since their return from injury. That's not happening. It was Lewis who came on, wasn't it? For God's sake. Yeah, so Marmoush ain't starting based on that. Ainori ain't starting based on that. I don't know why Curve would start. Don't know why Ako would start. Don't know why Lewis would start. And maybe Stones at centre-back. Maybe. So I guess you're like looking to these three. I have been exposed as a massive fraud. I'm not even a City fan for real. I wasn't even there at the Etihad. Clearly. I left in the 3rd minute. Ichigo says I'd rather Shirky right wing and Pookie Bernardo central midfield. So would I, to be honest, mate. I would actually prefer this as well. I'd actually prefer something like that as well. That might be more interesting. It's just how likely is it that Reinders doesn't actually start, given how frequently he has started so far this season. But again, City looked so good when it was the midfield three of Nico, Foden left central midfield, and Bernardo right central midfield. It did look a lot better when Bernardo came on. To be fair, that was when City were 1 goal up, so it's a different game state, so maybe that's also impacting the play. I still wonder if right now in his early stages of his career at City, Shirky is viewed as a player to change the game off the bench rather than a player to start really, really consistently, even though that's not necessarily something I agree with. You guys know I'm a big fan of Shirky. Bob can also play there. Savio can also play there. It might make more sense to start a bit more conservatively, because you are away in a tricky Champions League away game, of course, where we've only got 4 points. So perhaps start cautiously, and then you can bring on Shirky, you can bring on Savio, you can bring on Bob if necessary, if you need to change the game. So perhaps that is how City should approach the game. Perhaps. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I could see this absolutely be a thing. Minimal changes, focus more so on being conservative and cautious to begin with. And then if you need to switch things up, you can do so with those options off the bench. I think that's relatively uncontroversial. But let me know what you guys think will happen. Not what you want to happen. What do you think will happen? What changes would you make here based on what you think will happen? I know people want Shirky to start, but do you think he will start? I know people might want Bob to start, but do you think he will start? Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat with that team. FG says, I think Shirky gets a start. Nori will start, says Gershom. Sachin says, I don't think Reinders starts. Probably Kovacic. I didn't even think about Kovacic. Reddy says Tijani does need to be on the pitch. Athendao says Shirky has to start. Would love to see Shirky start. Shirky for Reinders, keep Bernardo for balance, says Pierre. That would be very fun. Akash thinks Pep will rotate a lot of players. That's interesting. Why do you think that? I have been exposed as a fraud. Absolutely. Neither Marmouche mask celebration before October ends. Reinders play so many games, especially because there were no other options. Pepe probably will play. Apanash, yes. Reinders has to start, says Lucas. I don't think Shirky starts, but Bob might. Shirky to get 30 minutes off the bench. Should I be going to that camera instead when I'm reading the chat? I don't know if it matters. I think Reinders gets the rest and Pookie Bernardo wins us the match. I think Kova might start. Bernardo has to start because Reinders isn't in the best of form. Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? It is a tricky one. I think that's everything I wanted to touch on very briefly on the lineups and one. Let's go sit back over there because I'm lazy and I want to go sit down. I want to have a drink as well because I'm a thirsty boy. Oh, get this Lego box out of the way. Oh, yes. Hello, guys. How we doing? I couldn't even be bothered to get a glass. I'm just going to take this straight from the bottle because I'm such a little... a little swine of a man. Excuse me. We're nearly there. There we go. Lovely. Pick Spider-Man. He's normally holding the door open. He's having a rest now. He's just chilling. Don't worry about it. Siman says, surely Shirky's going to get a start at right wing now. Well, I'd hope so, but it's funny because, like, Shirky, came on. Technically, Shirky came on at left wing against Everton. It was only, the 85th minute and we were 2-0 up, so it's hard to analyse, his usage in that game. But he came on at left wing, but so many of his actions didn't even take place at left wing, did they? He was just, roaming around. It'll be interesting to see if Pep likes that, or in a more settled game, will he be expecting Shirky to actually, for the most part, play in a certain area of the pitch, or is he just happy for him to do a free roam role? That will be interesting to see how Guardiola views it. How much do you sacrifice to get the best offensive value out of Shirky? That's going to be the balancing act. I think that's going to be the balancing act for Shirky. And sadly, because of his injury, we haven't yet seen enough of a sample size of what Guardiola thinks. Not yet. Anyway, of course, we will see that, absolutely. Because I don't get invited, Jeremy, that's why. Why do you think Tijani is struggling for form? I think that Smyan's answered it very well here. Excuse me. I think the reason why he had his best game against Wolves is because that was... You guys, please correct me. Was that the only game for City he's had where he was basically played as the most advanced midfielder? I feel like it was because Nico played, didn't he? And Bernardo played as well. Obviously, Nico is being used as a defensive midfielder. Bernardo is more of a deeper midfielder as well. So Reinders was essentially the number 10. And I know we technically play two of them, but in terms of the most advanced, the most creative, the one with the freest, the most offensive burden and responsibility, I don't think we've seen it in any other game, because against Spurs, Shirky came into the side, and thereafter I know that a couple of exceptions, but it's generally been more Foden who's been tasked as the more creative / advanced midfield option. And Reinders is having to, I think, adapt to a deeper role. It's taken him longer than I thought it was going to, in fairness, because I have seen him do it for Milan. I've seen him do it for the Netherlands. But is it... It might just be something as simple as that. He has far less time on the ball in the Premier League than in Serie A. He's also being asked to be more of an all-round option in midfield and doing more work at the back in deeper areas rather than advanced like against Milan. So I think that's what it is. And I'm still convinced it will come with time. It's not a problem. We've seen it in glimpses. I think it was the Monaco game where I felt that he was really good in that match, in his overall play as well. So I think that's all it is, really. And Smian's covered it really well here, I would say. He will be very good in those deeper areas. He needs to be, of course. And that will come. We've seen that Foden's illustrated that he can do that. So now the onus will be on Reinders to do the same. But I don't see why it can't come with time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Trafford Masterclass. If he starts, I'll be staggered. Big narrative and Phil not being creative enough. Yeah, Trey, it's thankfully, it's really easy to disprove. Even in his worst season for City, last season, outside of Savio and De Bruyne, he was our most creative player, objectively, by the data. Even in the season where, in his Player of the Year season, where people tried to reduce him to only a goal scorer, which is mad. How can you only be reduced to a goal scorer? That's insane. He was still a fantastically creative player, not only in terms of the direct assist, we touched on it last stream, I think, but also in respect to the overall playmaking. 5 second assists, 5 third assists, so 10 overall. No Premier League player in that season got more. The closest was 9 with Bruno Fernandes, I think. No one got 10. No one got double digits apart from Foden. It's just that's all it is. It's a narrative. And it's a false narrative as well. That's literally all it is. Which seems to have been created by people who are jealous of Foden or concerned about how good he is as a player. And then what am I going to say here? Susceptible City fans adopted that take as genuine. And people got it in I think people also got it in their heads that creative equals Kevin De Bruyne. But we know that that's not fair. But we also know that creation is far more than just being this high volume passer as well. Now, Foden isn't a high volume passing creator in the same way as Kevin De Bruyne is, or in the same way as Shirky is. But does that mean he's not creative? Well, no, not at all. That's nonsense, because we know there are far more ways to create than just being that ilk of player. And he can still do that, by the way. We've literally seen it in respect of like his passing. So yeah, it's just a silly, false narrative. That's all it is. Tactical hands. Jeremy, I'd love to go on there, but I've not been invited. It's got to find a consistent level somewhere between the first. Yes, definitely, Fenway, definitely. And I don't know how else we can make that happen other than with time. TBH. He surprised me at how fantastic he was at the Club World Cup, playing as a number 6, by the way, for a long time, playing as number 6. I didn't think he was going to be able to do that, and maybe I was sort of caught unawares at the lack of adaptability since the Premier League has started. So maybe I was a bit of a false dawn, perhaps, and I fell for it. But there's no doubt for me that he will get there because he's an elite midfielder. He is very, very good. He is very, very good. Elliot Anderson, we will need another midfielder based on bodies, and we will need probably a homegrown option there as well. Yeah, he's been fine, by the way. Yeah, he has been fine. He's just not been as good as I know he can be. That's all it is. That's all it is. Yeah, well, Ichigo, wouldn't you hate him if he was the reason why he lost a title? Yeah, we've already looked at the lineup REP. So if you want to rewind to the start, you can do that. Foden right of centre to Giant left. Why do you want Foden right out of interest? Because he's been fantastic left of centre this season. And I think that he's arguably putting in some of his finest performances. Yeah, and look, he's nowhere near the level of like David Silva's passing creative range, of course, but there are shades of it. And I think we saw that against Everton, that second half, where again, left of centre, where Foden picked up the ball in more deeper areas. And that it was the David Silva zone, wasn't it? There's a reason why Foden keeps saying how David Silva was his role model and idol. Now, Foden isn't David Silva, even though he was for some people, they decide he was the replacement. And he's also not Kevin De Bruyne. Foden is Foden. He's his own player. But the good thing is that he's got traits of De Bruyne. He's also got traits of David Silva, but he's also got traits of himself as well. So he is his own player as well, and he has his own identity. But it is nice to see that he's been able to sort of take little pieces of either or, definitely. Definitely. Can you imagine what Forest would ask for Anderson if Gibbs White was close to 100 million? Yeah, indeed, Jack. Well, they don't deserve these fun players the way they're the way they're acting. Yes, I do, Bandao. Yes, that is my prediction. Definitely based. I mean, they played Atletico Madrid, who, to be fair, don't really deserve that more defensive reputation than from a few years ago, because that has changed quite a bit in recent years. However, Atletico Madrid dominated the ball against them as well. Villarreal have, unless they're at home against a poor team, they allow the other team to have the ball, and they're more than happy to set up in their passive mid block and just chill and go, okay, you break us down and we'll hit you on the counter attack. And we've got the option of having pacey wide players like Pepe. We've also got the option of having big, tall centre forwards as well, if we so desire it, and we want to play more direct. So I do think that our build up shouldn't be a problem against Villarreal. Shouldn't being the operative contracted word. We shall see if it transpires like that. Do I think Shuki's through ball tendency in playing exotic passes hated by Pep, as Pep likes to play? No, no. Kevin De Bruyne was clearly one of Guardiola's favourite players. No. I mean, he also played off the left, Keo, and also that's a false equivalence because he's not being used in the same way this season as that year. So it's not. I don't really accept that as a good point, to be honest. Even Pedri looked up to David Silva. Yeah, who doesn't? For real. I think most changes will be made in the League Cup. Pep will opt for maximum 3 changes in between Prem and Champions League. And we play a League Cup game soon, don't we? I'm pretty sure. I was going to go to that monitor now, isn't it? What? One sec, guys. I've got to. Oh, because when I open up Google on this one, there we go. I think we play Swansea after Villa, don't we? Isn't that a thing? Hello? Yeah. Yeah, we play Swansea on the 29th. So Villarreal today, obviously. Villa Sunday. And then, yeah, away at Swansea on Wednesday. So that will be a big... that'll be a big rotation game. That will be... Trafford will start. Lewis will start. Stones will start. Ake will start. Maybe that's the game Ait-Nouri starts, perhaps. Depending on fitness and availability. I don't know what Rodri's fitness is going to be, but let's hope that we need to get him some minutes in before Liverpool, ideally. If he's available to start, I'd probably give him that game against Swansea just to get some minutes into his legs. Who else should play there? Kovacic should probably start. Kovacic should start. Maybe Mukasa. As well. And then I guess depends the other wide options. Maybe that's a game to for Cherki to play as a false 9. And then maybe Marmoush Savia. Again, it depends who needs minutes for those games. It does depend who needs minutes. And ideally we'd be able to get Mukasa in somewhere there as well. Yeah, Marmoush as well, definitely. Depending on their availability. Yeah, again, this is a weird false narrative that has been, I think, instilled from rival fans. This idea that, Pep kills wingers and he stifles creativity and blah, 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 blah. That sort of thing. I think it could definitely Fenway. I think the biggest, I'm pretty sure, the biggest beneficiary of Shirky's passing is actually going to be Phil. That's my prediction. Because right now, he's being tasked with the vast majority of the creative burden on a consistent basis. So he's therefore not able... So people aren't creating for him as much. And he's been... Outside of Doku, no one's really doing it. Certainly not consistently enough anyway. So that should actually hopefully get Phil into even better goal-scoring positions, because now there's going to be less onus on him. So of course he's still going to be getting into creative positions for others, but now he can also get into goal-scoring positions for himself. So there's far less burden / pressure / onus on him to just do it all on his own from the centre if Shirky is able to get in the team as well. So there we go. I mean, I don't really care, Kia, whatever. Do you think Shirky would work better with Bernardo or Reinders? Probably Bernardo right now. Swansea should be an easy game. It should. City fans need to stop listening to rivals. Peppers never say did know. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, big up Nana Nobbins. Is Shirky playing? I don't know. Winnie Kasana for the Liverpool game, ideally, because that's in what? How long ago? How far away is that? 2.5 weeks. That's in 2.5 weeks. If he's available to start, I would love him to start. Of course I am. I think apart from Hall, and he's been our best player. He's been our best player. I'm loving the new role that he's been allotted this season. I think he's been fantastic overall. They do. A lot of them do. Definitely. It hasn't clicked yet. Once it does, he will unlock him. So CC, definitely. Yeah, and this is... We know this is the future. We know that this is the future. 100%. Yeah, definitely, Sman, definitely. Yeah, that was beautiful, wasn't it? And we're going to see more of that. I'm pretty sure we'll see loads more of that. Why not? I hope so. I hope he scores. We need to chill on Marmouche, says Eugene's played only half a season and is bagging when he played. He's class. Hey, I'm a big fan of Marmouche. He's my favourite player. He's my boy. I'm a big believer in Marmouche. Yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't be worried about Marmouche. He'll be fine. He's lovely. He's absolutely lovely. Reinders finally given freedom to get forward and Foden deeper zones with Roderick. DM is our best midfield. Granted, Foden and Reinders can rotate, says Smian. But Reinders will definitely, I think, have to, at some point, become comfortable in those deeper areas to also get the best out of Shirky if we want to play him more centrally. Absolutely, that is a thing. I'm big brained. Love that from you, Naveen. Don't we all miss Kusanov? He's lovely, isn't he? If Savio learns to put his foot through the ball when shooting, it's game over. It feels a more efficient dribbler than Doku. Again, he gets into so many lovely areas, and his shots... It's not like his shots are, like, always horrendous and high and wide. Like, he's at least getting them, you know, he's at least forcing saves. Now, that's not good enough. Obviously, it does need to get better. But at least he's not sort of, like, blasting them horrendously into row Z. Do you know what I mean? At least that's a thing. At least they are on target. At least. Oh, you know, it's silver linings and all that. Silver linings. I love Marmouche. She's the boy. Marmouche hasn't delivered with a few exceptions. As potato. Time. Tranquilo. It'll be fine. Is that the Black Ops 3 profile picture? I think it is, you know. Where is Smian? Yeah. There he is. That's Blops 3, or is it 2? Or is it 4? Because there are 4 red lines. I don't know. Then the last Black Ops I played was Black Ops 2. I want to say. Black Ops 2 is what I want to say. Yeah, we do have a lot of ballers, don't we? Absolutely. Savage to do better with a shot against Everton. No doubt about that. I don't know, Ariaman. I don't know. I saw 4 lines of Black Ops 4. I don't know, do I? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's a thing. So, yeah, there was that moment where he should have passed when he shot, and he should have shot when he passed. That was a little bit frustrating. But I don't see why it can't come with time. He's 21. You do have to accept a level of patience there. You do have to accept a level of being quite patient. It's not a problem for me. It's not a problem. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Will Shirky start? I don't think so. Fun and jokes. I don't think so. Be surprised. Be surprised, because it's a big game away in the Champions League, and he looked lovely in that cameo, but is Pep going to accept that? I am not sure. I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing. Yeah, definitely Savio deserves time. There's no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. He's had some good games as well, Marmouche. He has. I don't know what the ratios were, but last season, wasn't he like getting better output than Haaland at one stage? I'm sure that was a thing at one point. Was it not? Have I made that up? I may have made that up. But I'm pretty sure that's a thing. He'll be fine. Marmouche, there's no problem. Marmouche is great. Wait, Haaland's injured? Hello? Is Haaland injured? I've not seen that. I've not seen anything about him being injured. I don't think so. I don't think that's a thing. Yes, we do. Because even if we are to accept that Kusanov is a perfect defender at right back, which you guys know I don't, I need my right back to be providing something offensively. Something. And right now, he's not doing that because he's a centre-back. So I need options, you know what I mean? I need my right back to do something creatively and offer something going forwards. Otherwise, that really limits us offensively, and it puts us into a sticky situation, and it isolates whoever is playing off that right side. Even more so, that's even more relevant if we're all saying that Shirky, his best avenue into the side, is out at right wing. Then even more so, we need a right back who's going to be able to provide some sort of offensive threat and work. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, it's isolation o'clock for a right winger who you don't want to be isolated out at right wing. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It was just stretching and yeah, I've not seen anything like that. I wouldn't worry about that. It's probably much of a muchness. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Holland was limping, wish he was fine. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. Don't worry about it, guys. Do not worry about it. Who unlocks Marmouche the most? Probably Nori, I would say, if he's played as more of an overlapper. That being said, there's no reason why O'Reilly can't do it because he's helped Doku do it. Also, there's no reason why that can't be a thing either. Trust Cafunes, says Ariaman. Look, you know I like Nunes as like an option there, but I still think that we need to get a better right back. I still think that. His form recently has been lovely. I like that, but I still think that if you can upgrade, that's a very upgradable position right now. Can't do anything wrong. Yeah, absolutely. Could you totally be happy with Nunes staying in that position? We don't get anyone? No. I don't think so. I don't think so. I still want an elite option there, or like a player who can turn into an elite option there. I think the Nunes is like a good option there, a good backup option there. But that's all it is, really. That's all it is. Look at Data and Peekafins looks better than Hakimi. Brilliant. Just seen company sign a new contract at Bayern. I thought he would be a better replacement if Pep leaves. That's really good to see. You know, the what's it? The faith, the trust that Bayern are putting in Vinny. That bodes really well for us for City, for those who want him to be our long-term manager. And in an ideal world, he'd absolutely be our long-term manager as Vincent Kompany. Wow, if he succeeds and if he's able to prove himself, why would I not want him there? It'll be a beautiful dream story. But of course, he has to prove himself and do very well. But so far, he's doing a fantastic job. He won the Bundesliga. He got unfortunate with injuries in the Champions League. Bayern are so confident they're giving him an extension. You've got players coming out saying that this is one of the best Bayern sides they've ever played in. Absolutely, Ironman. We did a watch-along, and we saw them dismantle Chelsea. They were absolutely fantastic in that game. Is that true, Desert Citizen? They haven't given a manager an extension since Van Gaal. Okay. Oh, that is big then. That is big. So yeah, that is a lovely time had by all then. That really does go to show. No, Satan, we can't. That does go to show how much faith they have in him, how much trust they have in him. And he's developing so well as hopefully our future manager. And I don't see why he wouldn't want to join us if and when that time comes, because he loves the club. He's literally got a bloody statue. He's literally got a statue outside our stadium. Apparently, Bayern Board love the fact he's a great communicator and speaks many languages. Yeah, he does speak a fair few, doesn't he? If his family's in Manchester, he'll eventually end up here. I hope so. I've no idea about Juma Bar Ready, to be honest. I've no idea. I'm sure I'll catch up on like his games. Depending on what we do, like if it's really obvious we're just going to loan him out again, then I'll wait. But if it's sort of like, okay, now he's being trusted to be integrated, then I'll look back. Same with Vitor Hayes as well. I've heard mixed things about Hayes. He's apparently doing fine, but he's also making a couple of errors every now and then, which makes sense for such a young centre-back. He might need another year. He might need another season elsewhere to develop. Be interesting, because I know there was like another tweet from, I think, City Extra, which said something like, internally, City view Hayes as he should be here next season, basically. Which would coincide well with Stones leaving the club, because, you know, Vitor Hayes is more of this Stones mould of centre-back, and Stones' contract is up next year. So, and if we are getting a right-back, we can basically just lock in Kusanov as our third choice centre-back. So Gvardiol, Diaz are our main two, and then Kusanov third. You need that fourth choice, of course, like minimum. Can Vitor Hayes turn into that? And then maybe you keep Ake for another year, send Bar out on another loan, and then see what the state of play is after Ake's contract expires. You know, do you trust Bar, or do you have to sign another left-footed centre-back? It's all up in the air, the centre-back situation. It's all up in the air right now. Ichigo says Bar needs more time to develop. Big up to you, Frankie. Is there someone who holds the Premier League with being a player and a manager? Not a Premier League, but an English top flight title, yes. Kenny Dalglish, because he won it with Liverpool and then he won the league with Blackburn as a manager. If you're counting that, I don't think that any player has won the Premier League in the more modern era from 92-93 and manager. So I guess it depends if you count Kenny Dalglish, because he obviously won many top flight titles with Liverpool and then won the Premier League with Blackburn as their manager in 1995. Trivia for you guys. Trivia. Claudio clearly made a mistake going to buy Leverkusen, didn't he? I don't know what the terms were, but it was very obvious that if he went to Drone, he would have been like a shoe-in, starting all the time. I assumed he knew what he was doing by going to Leverkusen. I assumed there must have been like an agreement of I'll play X amount of time, X amount of minutes, but that's clearly not happened. So there we go. I don't know, though. I don't know. I'm okay with Hayes. Yeah, what do you guys think is going to happen with the centre-back situation? What do you guys think is going to happen with the centre-back situation? This is something we touched on Touchline Talk, because right now we have Gvardiol, Ake, Diaz, Kusanov. Wait. Gvardiol, Ake, Diaz, Kusanov, Stones. Is that it? Obviously, academy players. I think that's 5 right now, and that's probably about right. You need minimum 4, and ideally you'd have another option there. If we bring in Hayes and we bring in Barr next summer, then 2 have to go because you can't hoard players. We know that there are squad limits, squad size limits. Sorry. It looks like Hayes is going to be trusted. The main problem is, and this is what someone brought up on Touchline Talk, was that if and when Ake leaves and Kusanov, Barr, and Hayes, the 3 centre-backs we brought in, yeah, exactly, Span, they aren't left-footed, it would mean that our only left-footed centre-back at the club would become Gvardiol, which potentially introduces a problem, because it means that if Joshko doesn't play, then we have no other left-footed centre-back available. And that's a big concern, considering that we know our build-up has gotten a lot weaker this season, and that would get even weaker if you don't have a left-footer centre-back. Yeah, Fenway, so I wonder, so yes, so lots of people are big on Mifune. Now, how old is he? He's still a baby, isn't he? Is it going to be too... Let's even say, like, you know, best case scenario, if we're trying to do like a Mifune... I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that pronunciation, by the way. If we're trying to do a Mifune promotion pathway, whatever the term is there, Ake would stay in... He's only 17, dearie me. So Ake would stay another year, wouldn't he? So he'd stay until his contract ends, which would be 2027. So what, Mifune would be 19, right? And I guess at that point, who would your centre-back... What would the centre-back landscape be at City if we're saying that's happening in 2 years? You'd still have Joshko. Diaz would still be here. Is Sims and Pussy left-footed? I don't think he is. Let me check. I'm actually not sure. Hello, Yanko. How you doing? I honestly don't know. I feel like he isn't, but I might be talking bollocks. I might be talking bollocks. If he is, then I'm going to be very upset. He's right-footed. What a shame. What a shame. Because he's right-footed. I don't even think he's really playing that much at Celtic, though, is he? I'm sure I saw like a tweet from someone who said that he's barely played. Is that it? He's played 1 game in the Challenge... That can't be right. In the Challenge Cup? What the fuck is that? What is the Challenge Cup? He's played no games for Celtic. None. What's going on over there? Is anyone an avid Celtic fan? Can you let me know? What on earth? 0 minutes by the looks of it. None in the league. None in the cup. None in the League Cup. None in Europe. What a shame. What a horrible loan move that is for him. Right, well, there we go. So I think since the fact that he's not even like getting a minute for Celtic, that tells me I don't want to jump to conclusions. That tells me that he's not having a good time there for whatever reason. So yeah, so what's the landscape going to be in 2 years? We'd have Joshko. Oh, is he injured? Okay, fair enough. Joshko, Diaz, Kusanov, and Hayes. You would think would be our main 4 options at centre-back in 2 years' time if the pathway for Hayes is what we think it will be. Stones will have gone by that point if we're assuming contracts expire. Ake will have gone if we're assuming contracts expire. Perhaps Barr will be there because at that point he would have had 2 years on loan if we're basing it off those assumptions, and he'd be 20 years old, I think. So maybe Barr... Perhaps, and then Mifune maybe is like this 19-year-old option. So there are plenty of other players ahead of Mifune for that to be viable. It just depends on a lot of things, doesn't it? If you trust Mifune to be promoted, and if Barr develops, and if Hayes develops, then you don't need to sign another centre back, do you? But there are so many unknowns there. How is Hayes going to get on for the remainder of this loan? Is he just going to get immediately promoted next year? What's going to happen with Barr? Is he going to get moved on in 2 years and just make a profit from him? Or do we think in 2 years, I think he's 18 now, so he'll be 20 in 2 years. Is he going to be good enough to be that fourth or fifth choice option there? You guys are saying, where's he out on loan? Is it Norwich that he's out on loan? Aline? I've never known how to pronounce that name. Where's he out on loan? Watford, sorry. Watford. And he is actually getting some game time. And I think that didn't Guardiola even comment on him, saying that saying he's actually playing quite well. I'm sure I feel like it's not usual or typical for Guardiola to directly address like a youngster on loan. Maybe I'm like reading far too much into that. Oh, that's class. Transfer marked, both footed. I love that. Okay, great. So we can technically say he's left footed as well. He's been good. Love that. Love to hear that, Jack. And how old is he? He's 20. Aline. Is that how we're saying his name? Aline? That's a good point, Jack, to be fair. We do have a Watford fan in the Discord. We can confirm whether he's good or not. So I'm guessing that he must be far more in his development than Mifuni. So maybe it's not even like Mifuni. Like, is it more so Aline? That's interesting. It's a conversation that I think is worth having. Probably not next year, but probably the year after. I think you do probably move on Stones if Hayes is looking competent enough to be that fourth choice. Because your first choice is going to be Gvardiol. Your second choice is going to be Diaz. Your third choice is going to be Kusanov. And then the fourth choice, it's fine for that player to be not necessarily like a ready-made elite player, like it can be. It can be a younger player like Hayes or Barr or Aline or Mifuni, and then we can get to fourth and fifth. So that would be interesting to see. We do have a Discord server, absolutely, yeah. It's not really football that gets spoken about in there, but if you can join it if you want. I'm sometimes active, and I'm not as active as I used to be. I will accept, but I'm in there sometimes. It's mainly not football chat though, to be honest. Barr guarantee starter at Neeson's doing pretty well. I've heard good things. Can't claim to have watched him. In April he'll be 20. Mifuni reminds you of Gvardiol. He would be the most interesting one, I guess. He's the one who I've heard the most good things about, Mifuni or Aline. So sorry, I'm definitely saying his name wrong. That'll be good. Just wonder, like, will Mifuni be too young in 2 years? Whereas Aline, if next season he could get a loan at a Premier League club, maybe. I don't know if he'd be ready for that, but to be fair, he is already 20 years old, so he would need to be getting into that territory. Where even are Watford in the Championship? Are they a good team? Thankfully, Herbal, speaking of the Discord, we have a Borough fan in the Discord server, so I'm just using these Championship fans for scouting. He is, smitten with Naipam. Big up Will, a Borough fan. He's very happy with Naipam. He thinks he's class. So that is a very good sign. Watford are only 15th. I'd love a Premier League loan for Naipam next season. I'd love a Premier League loan for Aline as well. Wonder what's going to happen with Mifuni. Are we going to keep him internally, or are we going to try to give him a loan somewhere? That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. You get me? Yeah, big up to them. Absolutely big up. Do you think City pull the Echeverry loan in Jan and he joins Girona? Can you do that? Are there not rules on joining multiple clubs on loan? No, I guess there aren't. No, because that's happened before. It all depends on Echeverry, doesn't it? And his camp. He's been advised poorly, clearly, in hindsight, or in actual sight, he's been advised poorly. Silly Billy. I was excited at the idea of him going to Leverkusen because I was thinking, oh, Champions League, top 5 league, should be a fun time. They've obviously lost Wirtz. He's going to get a decent amount of time, but they're just not viewing it like that. I don't understand what is happening there. I don't really get what's happening there. Yeah, definitely, Fenway. It seems like he's not being advised particularly well, but maybe he'll view that as like a learning experience of, I should have listened to City, and I'm now going to listen to them from now on. Maybe that'll be a thing. Perhaps. Ten Hag. Oh, gosh. A left centre-back, says Suri. It's interesting. I reckon you could do it defensively. Maybe. I like the thought. It's not something I want to properly experiment with, though. I like the thought, though. I don't hate it. That's... Oh, I said this to Mrs. Nobbins. It was like a... I can't remember when it was, but like... She was... I think she was like, give me an idea for something. And I didn't think it was a particularly good idea. But I didn't think it was a terrible idea either. And I just went... You know what? That's not shit. It was just really funny. So like it's not shit, but it's not great. It's not shit though. I don't know. In all honesty, though, Siri, I don't know. What makes you think? Give me your thoughts. What do you think about? What's made you think that? Obviously, he's left-footed, but what do you reckon? Let me know. Let me know your thought process. Show me your workings. Show me your workings out. Yeah. Show me your workings out. You guys can use that one though. If you want to say it, if like a family member says something you don't want to like properly insult them, you just go, you know what, that's not shit. Oh, Shub Diwali. If you celebrate Diwali like I do, big up to you. Festival of Lights, we love to see that. We really do. Yeah, we do have a Discord, so if you guys do want to join it, if you don't, no worries. But you do get... What the hell is this? Hello? Mr. Is that say? What the hell? The Discord link is moving mad, Jack. That's insane. I didn't realise this, so I was wrong about this. Naipan will be homegrown if he's... if we keep him in England for the next 3 years. Because he is young enough and he was signed early enough to do that. Just an FYI, I was wrong on that. I thought it was the same as Echeverry, who wouldn't, but no, he will, actually, he will. Yeah, that's silly, Alan, isn't it? But it's a shame that he listened to them as well. It's a shame he listened to them. It's a shame. My always gives me a hard time because I have saying that's not the worst. It's like a politically correct way, isn't it? Oh, dearie me. Always, this is an interesting take from AP. I'm not into signing a senior left-footed centre-back. I'd rather 4 right-footed and 1 left. A left-footed senior centre-back will always sit on the bench most times than not. You're not wrong, and maybe this is why it would be a better idea to trust a youngster who's not, because Mifuni's not going to be pushing to start over Yoshko, is he? Or even like a both-footer in Aline who can play both. Now, the other thing to say is that my change, and I could absolutely be convinced to do this. I would need to know how comfortable, and Ariaman's just beating me to it, how comfortable is Vitor Hayes with his left foot? This is what I need to know. This is the information I need. Because if Hayes can be like a competent left centre-back who is comfortable with his left foot, because remember... I would say that the 2 best centre-backs in Premier League history were both left centre-backs, and they were John Terry and Van Dijk. I believe that they are the 2 best centre-backs in Premier League history. But what do you notice about them both? They both played left centre-back. Terry, to be fair, in a different era, but still good on the ball. But they're both right-footed. So it's not inherently a problem to have a right footer at left centre-back, so long as they are comfortable with their left foot. so long as they're comfortable with their left foot, and Terry was, and Van Dijk is. So it's not necessarily a problem. It's not necessarily a problem. It's more so when you've got a player like Diaz, who is out at left centre-back, and he's not that comfortable with his left, so he's always passing with his right. Do you get me? Do you get me? So if Hayes is able to be an understudy left centre-back, so if we're saying next season your 4 chief centre-backs are Gvardiol and Hayes at left centre-back, and then Diaz, Kusanov right centre-back, that could be a really fun quad of players. And then you've got the younger... Well, you've got Ake, who's on his way out anyway, so it doesn't really matter if he doesn't play that much. And then who knows what happens with Bar, Mifuni, and Aline. And this is why I need to know about Hayes, Smian. This is why I need to know about Hayes. Because you're right. Diaz ain't comfortable left centre-back. If Hayes can be, that's big. Then that's big. Because that potentially introduces... a solution. Short term, anyway. That maybe buys us another year, or we can like have a year to test it out and then go, okay, actually, no, you are a bit stinky. You get me? Because you are right. Gvardiol will be playing the vast majority. So it's just about you need the other option to be comfortable there. Minimum comfortable. Here we go. Show your workings. I love this. My workings. Had a red card and injuries in career mode. Stuck up a left centre back in the cup game, was bombing up with him into midfield like Prime John Stones. I love that. That is W workings, sir. You get 10 out of 10 marks for that. Can we make it happen? Can we make it happen? I love that. I love that. We've got so many exciting players. Suri, I think you're an Academy Watcher. Is anyone here an Academy Watcher in the first instance? Because I'm an Academy ignoramus. In the first instance, do we have anyone who does that? In the second instance, how do you do that? Are you going to the matches in person, or is there an avenue to watch it via the power of the interwebs? Is it on City Plus or City TV, for example? Let me know, because a lot of people have asked me if I can start watching more Academy games, and if I can find the time, I would be up for it, but I'd like to know how to do it. What's the official way to do it? And is it like it is on City Plus? Okay. Do they have live games? Is it all? Do they have like it live, or is it like highlights, or because I have City Plus, because I recently bit the bullet and I got an annual City Plus subscription because there was a game that I missed. I think there was a 3 p.m. game that I needed match footage from, and the very official site that I normally used it was down, so I just like bit the bullet and I got City Plus because it gives you the full match replay. So this is good. Gives you live games. Okay, great. So I've already got access to that. Unreal scenes, guys. Shall we do an off the cuff Academy watch along right now? How full match replay Newcastle versus City. That's the ladies. That's City Everton. Oh, here we go. Full match replay City versus Liverpool under 18 Premier League North. Oh, guys. Guys, hello.
And a big welcome back, everybody. The latest...
Okay, great. Cool, I can do that. Sick. Bop. What was the final score here? Oh, bloody hell, we lost 3-2. Wash team not watching them for real. I might actually do that. That might be interesting to do. I can't commit to it all the time, but I might do it sometimes. That might be interesting to do. That might be fun. Maybe I can give like sort of like my, I don't know, Academy update or some bollocks. I don't know. We either come. That's excellent, Yanko. Yeah, I love that. I love that. The reason I say this left back is because our right centre back is more up for grabs than left centre back. If they're comfortable with their left foot, the build up will be just fine. Yeah, because left centre back is like locked in. We know that Yoshko has to play all the time, and you are right. Like it should be more Diaz and Kusanov vying for that position. Certainly longer term. Anyway, hopefully Kusanov can make that sooner rather than later. That's a thing. It is a thing. I don't know, Harryman. There will also be opportunities at right centre back as well, because obviously he can play there also. Interesting. I think it's good to see that if Hayes is competent and solid with his left foot, then that gives us a lot more options. That gives us a lot more options, doesn't it? So that's a good thing. That's an exciting time to be had by all. We've got over 200 people watching, which is great. Let's get up to, over 300 people watching, which is lovely. Let's go up to 150, shall we? Let's go up to 150. Come on, up the lads, up the lads, up the lads. I could just visit the games, to be fair, but it would be far more convenient for me to just stream them. I have gone to a couple of Academy games in person, but this was years ago. This was when we had a striker called Henri as one of the Academy players. I think, was that after or was that Brandon Barker's time? I think I saw a Brandon Barker game one time as well, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I was there. I think I was there because the tickets were free because the club were doing a come to the Premier League game, but if you show your season ticket, then you get an Academy ticket for free. So me and my family just went there because we were going to go see the match anyway. I think we ended up drawing that game or losing. I don't think it was a good time. That game. Oh dear. That's definitely not legal, mate. As far as I'm aware, he's actually more of an all-round midfielder. I keep getting told that he's an 8/10. But who can also clearly do a job as a false 9. That's what I get told. And maybe I should watch the games to actually educate myself. Maybe, Alan, maybe. Matthew's a good point. This hopefully makes perfect sense. Oh, wait, someone said earlier they subscribed 5 minutes ago. Here we go. Afritoon just subscribed. I have to say you look like Mark Gubbich's little brother. All right. Let's see if this is legit, guys. What do we reckon? Legit? He's doing the arm thing and you've got to do that. What do you reckon? I don't see it personally. He's got better hair than me for a start. I don't know. He's got very kind eyes. Whereas I think mine are pretty, I don't know, pretty scathing. Anyway. Not sure about that, Afritu. Not sure about that, to be honest, matey. Thank you so much for subscribing, though. Love that from you. Brendan Nobbins. Oh dear. That's a violation. That's a fair take, says Matthew. Yeah, fairs, man. That's fairs. Just shopping high. Faithful Malaysian subscriber. Love that from you, Raphael. I think if you're not relying on Stones to be a starter, which we aren't, he's not a terrible keeper. I guess it just depends on funds as well. It just depends on how much money he's on. It depends on how much money he's on. Oh, if you didn't see the new timer, which I revealed last week, new timer, new scoreboard. Look at how sick this looks. We'll be using that properly tonight. Unreal scenes. I'd keep Stones another year. Have 5 centre-backs with Yoshiko Diaz as the main two. Stones because I have Hayes Mifuni as depth. What would you do with Bar then, Suri? Are you sending him out on loan again? Just immediately, or what are you doing? And also, what are you doing with Ake as well? Because Ake's contract doesn't expire until 2027. I guess that's the only thing to think about. It may not have been an insult, you know. Maybe he was just talking about, you know, the quality of our content. I don't know. No worries, Martin. I got you. It's legit. You guys are saying it's not terrible. Loki, he's cooking. Oh god. Looks like my drunk. Yeah, of course. Of course. Hey, I had to be done. We had to see if it was legit or not. We had to see if it was legit. Oh, dearie me. Anyway. W Tammer, thank you guys. I'm glad you like it. Don't worry about how much it costs. 3 digits. That's how much. But don't worry about it. It's fine. It's worth it. We've got it forever now. Barca still owes Torres money, little bastards. How dare they? How dare they, little scumbags? It wasn't it like over 1 million years or something insane? Like, aren't we all going to be 87 by the time that happens? Matthew, if you want to hire a good graphic designer, these guys cost money. And I wanted it to be perfect, and I'm very happy with it. That included a number of revisions as well to make it perfect. I'm very happy with it. And now I have it forever. And it's a really easy template. That's the thing as well. It wasn't just the timer. It was a template. So now all I have to do is insert the badges and it lines up perfectly. So I don't have to do any other work. So it saved me a massive hassle as well. Yeah, exactly. So it's a thing. You get me? Hopefully everyone, mate. If you had to put an animal on the pitch... We'll wrap this up in 5-10 minutes, by the way, guys. Let's get your thoughts in. If you had to put an animal on the pitch for City, which animal would you choose and what position? The obvious one is to put a fox in the box, but we have Haaland there, so you don't need to do that. Can I say a blue whale in goal? Because you physically can't put the ball in the back of the net. So you're going to get a clean sheet every single game. And we already don't have... I mean, let's be honest. Our current goalkeeper isn't doing anything in the build-up anyway. So that would be a thing. I'm having a blue whale. I can. There you go. I'm having a blue whale then. That is clearly the correct answer. You will never concede a goal. Ever. You will literally never concede a goal. Easy. Easy mode. Oh, you've got a... TP, yeah, that was a joke. Look. I'm assuming that the parameters are in play where we give it water or whatever. Because they're mammals, aren't they? So they breathe in the water. So it's going to... I don't know how their biology... How could you put like a hose pipe on it and it still is alive? I don't know. A young blue whale, I don't know. One that's big enough to fill up the goal, basically. But the goal kits could be taken by a centre-back, Jack. We've already seen that. A goalkeeper doesn't have to take the goal kick. Centre-backs can take goal kicks for the goalkeeper. So that's not a problem at all. That's the correct answer, isn't it? Just get an animal that's way bigger than the goal, and it's not a problem. It physically can't score a goal. Easy mode. Easy peasy. Guaranteed clean sheet. Arteta would love me. He would love me as his naturalist advisor. Cover the whole box. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Just get like a slightly smaller one that still covers the box, but doesn't... covers the goal, sorry. But doesn't, you know... We'll make it work. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Martin, that's mad. Here's my take. For our build to be healthy and wealthy, we should build with young stars with high potential, then stars who want to start and be grumpy when rotated. That's bad. If possible, AP, that would be beautiful. That would be beautiful, wouldn't it? That would be beautiful. I don't think so, hey, and he's limited to cup games now, I'm pretty sure. Game will be forfeit. Look, some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. You know? I'm not willing to make it, that's mean, but... Assuming that we can create the situation where the animal doesn't die, then I'm having a blue whale. Just to block off the entire goal. Not a problem. We did the whole starting 11 beforehand. Hey, and if you want to give that a watch, I'd recommend rewinding. It's a very good point, Chico. Yeah, you can just... I mean, you can literally just have all 10 players in the other box because the other team can't score a goal, so the other team might as well just give up. It's really just... The worst case scenario is it's 0-0. You might as well just, like, camp everyone in their box. It doesn't matter if they get up the pitch. So... you're guaranteed at least a nil, at least a point. So you go undefeated every season. Easy. Yeah, and look, if the whale dies, then that's what subs are for. You know what I mean? We'll have a sub whale. We'll have a sub whale on the bench. See, you only need 76 whales a season in the Premier League. So, you know, that seems valid. Oh, God, no, obviously not. That's a good point, Herbal. Yeah, drop a like, guys. If they also have a whale. But I'm assuming, but the question wasn't, and they also have the same animal. It was just like, if I could have an animal, I'd have that one. I think don't dead everything's explode because of the gas buildup or something. I think, don't humans also, I might be wrong, but don't humans also explode? I don't know. I mean, that would also work, to be fair, TP. That would also work. Don't know how that would happen logistically, but, you know. Exactly, they are famously abundant. Oh, gosh. Transfer window, get us a new whale, a younger whale with great potential whale projects. I see the vision. I see the vision. Why not? And on that note, considering we're talking about whales now, I do think we should probably have should probably be wrapping it up. So get your final comments or questions in the chat, and we will be doing a watch along tonight at 7. I'll also be on We Are the South Stand at 6, so feel free to join us there. How much charges with? Yeah, we'd have to look at the rule book. Does the rule book say you can? Does it say directly you are not allowed to put a whale on the pitch? Because if it doesn't, I feel like there's a gap in the market here. There's a gap in the market, you know? If it doesn't say that, if someone could please bring up the Premier League rule books and do Control F, search for whales, and if there's nothing directly saying that you're not allowed a whale, then, you know. Which animals are centre back? We'd want something tall, but also preferably quite elegant. Or do you just like go for a bastard no nonsense centre back? You'd have to crane the whale in, guys. Okay, here's you guys. You're thinking too small. You're thinking too small. You need to be thinking more out here. You know what I mean? You need to be big brain like your boy. Yeah. All of you right now, like from like a creativity POV, you're down here. I need you to all raise your game to up here. Just get a crane. It's chill. It's fine. We'll make it work. There's loads of cranes going on at the Etihad right now because they're currently revamping the whole shit. So easy. Yeah. There you go. Exploit that gap in the market. Easy peasy lemon peasy. Who's a Bernardo replacement? Oh, I just got a football question. I don't know. Like a chimpanzee? If we're talking about animals. A giraffe? No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't think it's going to be easy to replace. I'd like to think that... Because like Bob's a very adaptable player, but they've got a very different skill set. So I actually don't know. We may well bring in Morgan Gibbs-White or Anderson or Wharton. Maybe they will... Not replacements in profile, but maybe in body. Indian or Chinese? Oh, gosh. I think... Oh. Okay. I prefer my local Chinese to my local Indian. However, that is not the same as saying I necessarily prefer Chinese to Indian. Does that make sense? Do you get me? I actually think I prefer... Because my favourite restaurant right now is Dishoom. So... And that's an Indian. But that's not a takeaway. That's not a takeaway. Do you get me? So, it's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky, but I love both. I love both. But I would say, if I want a takeaway, I'm going to go for my local Chinese rather than my local Indian. But that's because I just prefer the Chinese restaurant. Not necessarily because I prefer Chinese food. I think I actually prefer Indian food. But I prefer an Indian restaurant, but I prefer a Chinese takeaway. I mean, yeah, of course we would. We'd have a big TIFO as well. We'd have a big Wales TIFO. And it would say something like, The Blue Wall. Because it makes sense because it's a blue whale. He plays for Man City. He's a wall. So, there you go. It'll be the Blue Wall. Just be a fucking anamorphic whale. Yeah? With a brick wall behind it. Give me a gorilla, that's fast. Oh, Eugene, that's crazy. Oh, gosh. Spartacus, chill, mate. I like giraffes are elegant. Chill, chill, chill. Chill on giraffes, man. That's a good point, Fenway. That's a very good point, actually. I'm over Indian and Chinese takeaway Lebanese. Oh, really? Damn, a rogue shout there by Herbal. Exactly, Strawberry. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a Chinese takeaway is far. It's a Chinese is fat. It's a fatter meal, and if I'm getting a takeaway, I want a fat meal. And the Chinese is going to offer that to me. It's going to make me feel more satisfied in respect of feeling fat. So that's why I'd go for that. I know no one asked, but Nobbins, what is your Chinese order? This is what I go for. So I'm prawn toast to start, to share with someone, of course. I can't have all of it on my own. But then I have salt and pepper chicken. Gorgeous. And I have egg fried rice. And sometimes, again, depending on how many people there are, throw in some salt and pepper ribs as well. Throw in some salt and pepper ribs. Because they're gorgeous. If it's Indian, then and it's a takeaway, I love a Balti Boona. Love that. I think a Balti's medium heat. Thereabouts. I don't like it too spicy, but I want there to be something there. I don't want it to taste bland, like a korma. That's boring. I think a Balti Boona is like the right balance. It's got some spice, so I'm getting something. Garlic naans. Oh, I can have many of those. And yeah, some sort of like chicken's got to be involved as well. If I go to Dishoom, I have the whole fucking menu. It's so delicious. Jack from the US, big up to you, Jack. Second biggest viewer base of the channel, by the way, the United States. Big up to the US. Let's have an updated geographical situation with the channel before we head off. This is a football channel. Hey, it was football for 1 hour 20, and now we're just chilling. Don't worry about this. Is the beauty. We can talk about anything we bloody want. That's the fun thing. That's the fun thing. Let's look at my analytics. Ow. If the audience wants to load. What do we have? What do we have? Where's my geography at? Where's your geography? There we go. This is in the last 28 days. 14% from the UK. 10% from the US. So they're very close. They're very nearly the same. India's catching up to South Africa, by the way. Big up to India. They're catching up. It must be all this talk about Indian food. It's crazy. Yeah, big up. I do like chocolate. Exactly, of course. Yeah. We have the vast majority football, but then, you know, vibes. How many Japanese and Brazilian viewers do I have? Oh, gosh. Brazil is nowhere near, mate. Oh my gosh. It's not even in the top 30. 35. Brazil is 35. It represents 0.3% of the channel. 0.3%. It's the same as Namibia and Botswana. It's less than Belgium, France. It's less than Hong Kong, which is surprising. Ireland, only 0.5%. That is not good enough. I need to be doing better there. What? A squared plus B squared. It was C squared. Big up. Big up, big up, big up. You might be the sole representative, yeah. Top 10. We've got UK, US, South Africa, India, Nigeria, Kenya, Canada, Jamaica, Australia, Ghana. That is the top 10. of the LNobbins channel. That is the top 10. And there are only 5 that are above 5%, and that's Nigeria, India, South Africa, US, UK. Everyone else is below 5%, and it sort of like gets negligible thereafter. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, big up Namibia and Botswana. Yeah, we are here. Says Matthew. Oh gosh, right. Love that from you, Jay Chapman. Unfortunately, you've joined at the stage of the stream where I'm just descending into madness. Brazil, yeah, it's a good point, Spartacus. Yeah, it's a good point. That means you're probably the only Brazilian member of the channel. Based on the data, you're probably the only Brazilian member. So, you know, that's a thing. I'd start Doku today, Tip Top, because I don't think there's going to be that much space for us to exploit. And I think that Doku would make the most sense given that context. That would make the most sense. And then Marmouche is an option off the bench because he didn't even get any minutes against Everton. If you're one of the 3.9% of the ladies who watch this channel, big up to you. Big up. I know that Sarah and Louise are big time viewers of the channel. Love that from you guys. I think Bernardo will start personally. Right, okay, guys. We're gonna I love that from you, Jay Chapman. We're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much. What I'm now gonna do is I'm gonna go to my games room and I'm gonna pop my Lego onto my lovely new stands to make it all very, very pretty. Speaking of members, and Jay Chapman is one of them, shout out to all of my beautiful channel members who help support the channel. If you want to help support me, guys, you can do so by clicking that join button, or if the join button isn't there for you, the link is in every single video description to join the Hall of Fame, like these beautiful human beings. You also get shouted out every single video and live show. I haven't actually given a score prediction, to be honest. Yeah, Twitch streams. Yes, there'll be a Twitch stream. There's basically a Twitch stream every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening, unless there's like a City game on. So there will be a Twitch stream on Wednesday evening. There will be a Twitch stream on Thursday evening. Also, we're still playing South Park, but when football... I've already pre-ordered Football Manager. It's 10% off. Would recommend pre-ordering it right now if you want to play it. When Football Manager comes out, we are going to be taking Cork City to somewhere. I don't know, Jack. I've not seen any good games tomorrow. I was going to do South Park, but I haven't looked at the games, and maybe I can be convinced. We'll have a look tonight on the watch-along, and we'll come to a consensus. We'll come to a consensus. Sorry, I know I keep saying we're going to leave. Just an apology / warn. It's not a warning. An FYI. I'm not going to be streaming on Sunday the Villa game because it's my dad's birthday weekend, and we'll be travelling back on Sunday. So there will be a post-mortem, but I'm not going to be able to stream the game. And I don't think LB is going to be able to stream the game either because I think he's on holiday. But I will be back for the post-mortem after the game. Just won't be able to do a watch-along for it because it is my dad's birthday. So that is a thing. I've got him, among other things, Borderlands 4. So he's hopefully going to be excited by that. Thank you, guys. I'll catch you tonight, 7 p.m. Watchalong versus Villarreal. Until then, goodbye, guys.